Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you 3 requested recipes. First we're going to start with hard-boiled eggs and deviled egg salad. It's baking season, but I'm going to make hard-boiled eggs and then I'm going to show you how to make deviled egg salad. So here's what I do. Depending on how many eggs you want to make, you want to get 1 layer of eggs in a pot. So this is my 4-quart pot that holds exactly 1 dozen large eggs on the bottom. You want to make sure they're only in 1 layer and place them ever so slightly. But depending on how many eggs you make, you just want to make sure that they're in 1 layer. Okay? And then this is Martha Stewart's tips and tricks, but I have adjusted it because she showed us how to do it time-wise on a gas stove, and we're going to use an electric stove, and I've had to adjust it since I used to have gas. Oh, I used to have gas. Silly. All right, so now you want to cover them with cold water, just tiny bit, a layer of cold water above the eggs. And you want to put them on a high burner. Oh, that's something. You want to put them on high until they come to a boil. And then get your cover ready. You definitely need a pot with a cover. I should have mentioned that. I have them on time lapse so you can watch them boil. So once they come to like a rapid boil, not just the like little bubbles, cover it, turn it off. Now, the original recipe is take it off the heat and let it sit in the pot for 12 minutes. I did not find that that works for me on the electric stove. What I do is I move it all the way off the burner for 20 minutes. I think because it comes to boil faster is probably the only reason I could think. So now what I do is I give them a good shake in there because you want to crack the eggs. This is one of the tricks I have to opening them. So I like to pour off the hot water, give them a shake around in there, run some cold water, and then I like to dump in some ice from the freezer. And that's how it looks, perfectly perfect in there. So now I'm going to show you how I unroll them, and this one I just squished. Thank you for showing me how to squish eggs, Jerry. We really appreciate it. And that's why I'm actually having to be really delicate with it because I actually cracked this egg in half. I know, I'm so silly. But what you basically want to do is, oh, by the way, I let them sit till almost all the ice was melted. It was, the longer you let them sit in cold water, the better they are to, easier they are to peel. So here's what I wanted to show you. So, roll all over and crack the shell all over. And then it just wants to come right off. Now, it's oddly enough, I don't know what's in the Lisa's water where she used to live, but it was even this recipe and hers, like they were still hard to peel. So I don't know, this isn't exactly 100% foolproof, but it really does work for me. And we do eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs around here, especially when they're 26 cents a dozen. Well, they're not anymore, but that's where they were. So when they are, then, you know, it's definitely a good source of protein. And when I'm not feeling well, I like to keep hard-boiled eggs in the refrigerator for the days I'm not feeling well and I don't feel like cooking myself something. I can grab some quick and easy protein. And that's it. Then I rinse them in the pot of water, get all the little bits of shell off, and I store them in a Ziploc bag. Excuse me. So I store them in a Ziploc bag for a couple of days. It's a dozen eggs. If I share them with Jimmy, if I don't share them with Jimmy, it'll be a week. If I'm going to make, deviled egg salad or something, it'll be just a couple of days. And then we just carry on. And then you can either peel the whole dozen, which I would peel the whole dozen anyway, but peel the whole dozen, or I'm going to show you how to make the deviled egg salad real quick. So I have a half dozen peeled, and now depending, of course, how much egg salad you want and how much seasoning you want, the only recipes that I have are, the only ingredients I have are dry mustard powder, mayonnaise, and salt and pepper to taste, and then I sprinkle smoked paprika on the top. Now I'm going to make a half dozen, and that's about a teaspoon and a half to 2 teaspoons of dry mustard powder, ground mustard. Then I'm going to use my Pampered Chef egg slicer. This is not a sponsored vlog. I like to cut my eggs long ways and then short ways. And it makes these long, like strips on the ends and then like little tiny diced on the tops and bottoms. And like I said, 6 eggs. And if you like other things in your deviled eggs, you might like other things in your deviled egg salad. I know some people's deviled eggs have relish in them, or chopped up pickles, or some people put onions and chives, and that's totally up to you. It's just basically whatever deviled eggs recipe you make, you mix those seasonings in with your egg salad. So like I said, it's about a teaspoon and a half of dry mustard, and even the mayonnaise is subjective. We start off with about a third of a cup of mayonnaise, and then I mix it, and then I add. The only trick or tip I want to give you is if you're not going to eat this in 1 or 2 days, don't add the salt here, because the salt will draw out liquid and your egg salad will get like watery. So if you're, I like to make this and we eat it within a couple of days, and it's fine to go ahead and salt and pepper it. Otherwise, you want to leave the salt and peppering to taste for each person. So I don't know if you noticed, I use a spoon to scoop the mayonnaise and a fork to mix the egg salad, because I get to beat it still with a fork. You get to really mash it up with a fork really nice. That's how Mama taught me how to do it. And once I have it all mixed in, if I want to add more mayonnaise, I do. If I'm in the mood to make it creamy. So the next thing when you're done mixing it, and I didn't show you me mixing the whole thing, is you spread out the top nice. And this is just to distribute the paprika evenly. So then I just take pinches of paprika. Now traditionally deviled eggs have paprika pinched on top of them, and this is smoked paprika, Spanish smoked paprika, which I love, 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 love. And I just sprinkle that all across the top, covering every inch of. So when I make an egg salad sandwich, we scoop straight down. So every bite, I mean every portion will have some smoked paprika on it, and that's it. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the air freshener. Okay, so everybody's been asking me about the apple and core air freshener. So I did answer a few people in the comments. Basically, throw apple slices or the apple cores in a pot with some cinnamon or cinnamon sticks. Any spices that you like. I like cinnamon. And you cover them with water and you put it on the pot to boil, on the stove to boil. Once it comes to a boil, you put it on the lowest setting possible, and it continues to cook down. Just have to keep your eye on it and make sure it doesn't run out of water. But tonight, another Christmas scent is, I have some orange peel that I had last night. So I have this tiny pot that I use. So I'm going to use some orange peel and some whole cloves, which are very evocative of Christmas. If you've ever been the kind of person or family that whole clove berries, that has stuck a clove inside an orange, just another pinch I think would do it, because there's a lot of oranges in there just to balance it out. Now this will keep for a couple of days. I just cover it with cold water. I cover it with cold water because the longer it gets to sit in the water, it draws out the oils and stuff. So I put it on my back burner and I put it on high to start. So anyway, some people take a whole orange and put cloves in it and hang it in their house as an air freshener. So this one is really good, but like I said, I also do it with apples. If an apple is got a bad spot or about to go bad, and you're questioning whether or not it's like, if it's soft and you're questioning whether or not it's still edible, if you're questioning whether or not it's still edible, I'll go ahead and cut off the bad spots, throw it in the pot, and like I said, apple cores. The apple cores, not so much if it's just me eating them, because then you only get like 2 apple cores sitting. And that's not, not enough really. But I like to save up the apple cores. You can also put them in the refrigerator. They don't really lose their potency. But that's it. So, gonna let that go for a little bit. And I'll come back out in a minute. And when it starts to boil, I'll put it on low and let it simmer down. Okay, that's it. So if you guys can see here, it's going to start to boil. I don't know if I got a good... See, not so much. Right around there, you can kind of see the oil come out of the orange skin and starts to create the layer of oil on there. That doesn't happen with the apples. That's exclusive to the oranges. And you don't have to wait for the oranges to dry. I just didn't get a chance to do this last night after I was done eating my oranges. So I showed you guys today. So it's starting to boil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it to low. Now, know your stove. My stove, this is going to stay hot for quite a few minutes. You see actually how I have it on low and it's boiling harder and faster. So if I was cooking something and I needed to really be cut off, I would take this off the stove directly, or off that burner. But this is a glass top. It's not induction, but it does boil super duper fast. In fact, I never realized how much faster electric boils. My sister came over the first Thanksgiving that we cooked without my dad, and it took like forever for potatoes to boil, and she's like, what is going on? And I was like, this is the highest it goes. I don't know. So now they need to invent smell-o-vision, because what's the point of me showing you how to make this air freshener without any smell-o-vision? Tell me. It's like, I mean, orange and cloves. I don't know how else to describe it. Cloves to me remind me of ham, Christmas ham. Of course, oranges, Mom says whenever she hears of oranges at Christmas time, she thinks a Little House on the Prairie, or was it Mom? Somebody was saying how excited they were they got an orange on Christmas because they were so hard to come by. I thought it was Mom. But it just smells so wonderful. That combination of orange and clove is just out of this world. So I'm just going to let that go, and that's it. I'll check on it in about 15 minutes and make sure it still has water in it. Of course, the speed to which your pot stays hot, the speed to which the size of pot that you use depends on how much you'll still have to add water. Okay, and that's it. Now we're going to teach you how to make Mom's mint chocolate chip cookies. You can need 9.5 tablespoons of butter. This Betty Crocker sugar cookie mix with a 20% extra, 5 to 6 drops of green food coloring, 1/4 teaspoon of mint extract, 1/2 cup of creme de menthe chips, 1 egg, large room temperature, 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. First you're going to do is you're going to beat your wet ingredients. That is the butter, the egg, the creme de menthe, and the food coloring. And you're slowly going to pour in the cookie mix. Now I have this in a stand mixer with the paddle attachment with the rubber scraper. But if you don't have the rubber scraper, you're going to have to scrape down every once in a while. Okay. And then once I have it beat pretty good to combine, I put it on slow, and it's got a stir setting. So what you do is you want to put it on stir so that you can mix in your creme de menthe chips. These are by Andy's Candies. And your chocolate chips. And I give it a good beat. Then I just take the rubber spatula and make sure that it's all mixed together and incorporated well. And then scoop them out. This is the 1.5 inch scoop. And we're going to get approximately, what did we figure? 4 dozen cookies. Okay? You want to bake them for 8 to 10 minutes. At 350 degrees. Like little tiny scoops of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Now I want ice cream. So this one came, because I'll tell them, this one came from the internet or from the back of the package, or?
Gosh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You've been doing this one a long time, huh?
Quite some time, and it probably, not definitely, I could look it up and see if I could find the original recipe, came from Betty Crocker. It's
Oh,
from sugar cookie. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I would say offhand it came from Betty Crocker, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Maybe I'll just do 13. I'll move them over. Give them a little bit more room because I won't get another row in there, I don't think, without squishing the last row. So now I have them. Okay. There you go. You're welcome. After the 8 to 10 minutes, they're slightly golden brown on the bottom. You want to let them cool on the rack for 3 minutes and then transfer them to a cooling rack. And watch out for sneaky fingers. Yeah.
Get done with it. Yeah. You eat one. Still one.
No, this one only has 12 in it. This one only had 12.
Ah. Okay.
Oh, they're so good, one.
I know. That's one of the best. Is one of the best.
So that is today's requested videos, this week's. So we've got how I make hard-boiled eggs, the deviled egg salad, and the apple cinnamon / orange clove air freshening tip. You don't have to put that on all the time. If you're a person who really likes aromatherapy, then yes, of course. But if you made a meal that's heavy in garlic or an onion and you want to actually freshen your house from the kitchen out, that's the best time. It's the best time. So that's everything. Oh, I know what I forgot to tell you. So back in the day, aka the 80s, when potpourri was huge, they used to make potpourri burners. And what a potpourri burner was a teeny tiny crock pot that you put your potpourri and water in and you plug it in, and it did the same thing that that pot did, just over a long period of time. So if you're someone who has a 1-quart crock pot, go ahead. It's all that's food, as opposed to when it was potpourri, it was like sometimes scented with oils and perfumes and artificial fragrance. This is oranges and cloves, so it's all food. We're not adding any essential oils or any kind of chemicals, except for, obviously, you know, if the oranges are sprayed with wax, I can't promise anything, but I'm saying we're not adding anything and you wouldn't eat your body. So go ahead and use your crock pot, and it's still good to be as a crock pot. And this way it can go low and slow all day, and you probably will never have to add water to it in a low and slow all day, with the cover off, of course. But you know, you still do want to check it. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share with friends and family, anybody new who's interested in learning how to do any of these things. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, join the family. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video, which is every day. So, take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye.